This is Dr. Wysong. This series of videos on the big questions of life will show where each one of us is led if we dare to leave behind preconceived ideas and see where reason and evidence lead.
Free will proves we are other. Free will is such powerful evidence that we are other than mere matter and not limited by it. The atoms of matter don't have within them the free will which living things possess. At the chemistry level, atoms simply obey natural laws that make their behavior perfectly predictable. Obedient atoms are what allow chemists to mix a batch of certain atoms and molecules together to produce, say, plastic wrap, and count on not getting Coca-Cola coming out of the extruder. On the other hand, there can be no such law that dictates will, since will, choice, is the antithesis of blind obedience to law. The presence of will clearly speaks of other than matter, other than natural law. There's no scientific law that can predict exactly what a creature will do moment by moment. This unpredictability, particularly with regard to humans, speaks to something other than randomness and the laws that govern the physical components that constitute living organisms. Materialists don't understand the trap they've set for themselves by strapping themselves to matter and atoms. They contend that from the Big Bang forward, which atom was where and when determined which atom was where and when elsewhere on down the line ad infinitum. If the state of a system is known at any one time, then it is fixed at all later and earlier times by inviolable law. The entire history and future of the universe would be locked in with no surprises. The course of all events would be like placing a ball on the top of a plank that has one end elevated. If the ball is released, it rolls down the plank. It doesn't choose to do so. Laws demand that it does and dictate exactly how fast it goes and precisely when and where it will stop. Now then, if we are just in assemblies of such law-bound material atoms that ultimately came from the flash and smoke of the Big Bang, our existence and everything we do would be predetermined by the action of physical laws as well. We would all be just rolling down planks. I would not be deciding to write these words. I would have no choice in the matter. My actions would be just an effect of underlying chemical reactions that are the inevitable end result of a long chain of other chemical collisions, all interlinked and cascading from one to the other since the Big Bang. If one atom anywhere since the beginning of time would have been in a different spot, that would have impacted all other atoms through time, and I would not now be me writing these words, and you would not be you reading them. Materialists believe that our entire being could be duplicated if all of our physical details were known. Since every electron, proton, neutron, and quantum in every atom of carbon, nitrogen, hydrogen, and oxygen are believed to be the same anywhere in the universe, the only difference between you and me would be quantities, ratios, and the placement of these chemicals. In other words, I might have more carbon than you, and you more nitrogen than me. They may be quantitatively arranged a little differently between us, but that would be the only thing preventing me from being you. It seems more than a little difficult to believe, nor is there any evidence in support that the varying talents and personalities of the billions of humans that have resided on Earth are reducible to varying percentages of carbon, nitrogen, calcium, iron, and gluons. Nevertheless, proponents of strong artificial intelligence, AI, believe that all that is needed to duplicate you is the correct percentage of atoms, algorithmic software, and a big enough computer to hold every detail of how these quantities are arranged. Nevertheless, materialists dream. In the future strong artificial intelligent land of Oz, you could be scanned, a duplicate file of you emailed to the neighbor, downloaded on his computer, and then reassembled with a sort of upgraded 3D printing synthesis machine into a perfect copy of you. We can never prove that scientists can't do it, only that they haven't, and that it's unreasonable to think that they ever will. We can't prove that a cow can't jump over the moon either. In the meantime, we can use common sense, reason, and intuition. If we are to learn something from computers, the lesson is that something other than the computer must explain its existence, the source of the program, and its activation. Computers demand outside agency. Brains do too. Atomic ratios don't create self-identity, personality, conscience, consciousness, appreciation for beauty, poetry, music, love, hate, hope, ethics, despair, compassion, creativity, curiosity, and most importantly, free will. If we are solely the consequence of the position of atoms in space, then identical twins and cloned animals made of identical nucleic acid atomic agglomerations would think, move, and behave exactly alike at all times. They would even need to occupy the same space, but they don't. They are individually unique. The existence of free will tells us that there is something within that is other than the matter of which we are composed. If we, our essence, is something other than matter, then that essence is not bound by it or the laws that govern it. These realizations made me open to the idea that death is not the end, but the question remained about how mind, me, the I, could exist apart from my brain.
Thank you for listening. Keep in mind that solving the big questions requires foundations upon which truthful answers can be built. So please work through the series sequentially. This information has taken decades of research, thought, and writing. Aside from the peace of mind the solutions have brought me, the only reward I seek is hearing that it's helped you. Feel free to contact me with any comments or questions at asifThinkingMatters.com.